We shall continue the effort of the Buhari administration.
We must now, more than ever before, come together to pull Abia State out of our current sorry state and quagmire. I must also state that our state has never been this divided along ethnic lines.
And your reactions to the headline.
If you look at it, you know that the people are agitating from one place to another. But the result has been announced. If anybody has any problem, let that person go to court.
My own is that the fake promise that he used to deceive Nigerians. This time around, we are waiting for him.
Do you want to keep tabs with trending national, state, or local issues? Then listen to Open Parliament every weekday on Family Love 99.9 FM. Umahia. Open Parliament, when the issues are burning.
When I told you that the man is confused, the man doesn't know a direction. He failed because he was unprepared. You cannot get something from nothing. So they are just trying to find someone to blame for their failure. So they failed and failed mostly.
So last week, the Abia State Petition Election Tribunal, sitting in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, affirmed the declaration of Governor Alex Otti as the winner of the March 18, 2023 governorship election in the state. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Okeahiwe, in the March 18 governorship election, and his counterpart of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Ikeche Menike, had approached the court to seek the sacking of Otti over allegations of non-resignation of his membership from the APC before joining the Labour Party. Following that verdict by the tribunal, the likes of the APC and the People's Democratic Party have vehemently rejected the verdict and have vowed to appeal the decision of the tribunal. Whereas the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti, has handed down an olive branch to his opponent in the said elections. At the federal level, are we still paying for subsidy despite the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, on his inaugural speech saying fuel subsidy is gone? Or marketers, oil marketers, insisting that, hey, we're still being... fuel subsidy is still being paid. Good morning, welcome. It's Open Parliament. It's the Wednesday edition live on the frequency, the 11th day in the month of October 2023. My name is Mr. C. The issues we got to talk about this morning on the front burner. And, well, our usual guest, Interpol Systems Consultant, Chikwe Udensi, is being represented this morning by the Director General, Build a New Abia Banner Foundation, owned by Chikwe Udensi himself, and I'm talking about Ambassador Shigorom Oki. Good morning to you. Welcome to Open Parliament this morning.
Good morning, Mr. C, and good morning to all Abians.
Good to see you. And congratulations, your new appointment as the Director General of Banner.
Anyway, thank you, but it's a belated congratulations coming out from you.
Better late than never.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, quite a lot to talk about this morning. Before May 29th this year, Nigerians were living a fairly normal life. Petrol sold for about 197 naira per litre. A dollar exchanged for 700 naira or thereabout. And then came the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with a supposedly off-record statement that fuel subsidy is gone. And then since then, our lives have not remained the same. A litre of petrol now sells for 617 naira, with a likelihood of it reaching 800 naira before the end of the year. A dollar now exchanges for over 1,000 naira. Now this after the floating of the naira against other currencies. Salaries, earnings have barely increased. Typical Nigeria. When were Nigerians better off with the fuel subsidy regime? Make it make sense. Oil marketers, I'm sure like you heard in the introductory part, insisting that the federal government is still paying for subsidy. Otherwise, petrol should not be less than 800 naira per litre as we speak now. The federal government has been insisting through the NNPCL that nothing like subsidy as we speak. And Nigerians being fooled. Is there something Nigerians are not being told? What do you make of this back and forth?
Anyway, Mr. C, first of all, I am not a student to people that always like to take negative because of another greater negative. Like when you said that the previous regime, that fuel was sold at 197, that we were living our normal life. I beg to say that we were then not living a normal life. And coming to now, I won't because of that now accepted that we are living a normal life then. Then the fuel subsidy being removed and then from the worst state it was, and I would say whether we are yet to reach the worst state or we are still at the verge of still going up to the worst state. That the subsidy removal, yes, it's a good thing to do, but the process is the issue here. It's like bringing out a baby, asking the baby to count 1, 2, 3 for you. The baby or the baby will start from maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, instead of counting from 1, 2, 3, and that is our problem. First, subsidy is a good thing to be removed, but the way it was done is very, very wrong. First and first, what is the first? The first ought to be to revive our refineries. Had it been that our refineries are working efficiently, then we now start talking about removal of the fuel subsidy, then all these up and down will not be there. The government coming to say there is no fuel subsidy, the marketers saying there is fuel subsidy, is because we have failed from the onset to start the count from 1. Building our refineries. Once the refineries are built, you see that nobody will be interested in the landing cost of the petroleum and all kind of stuff, and the fuel price will definitely go down and will be affordable to everyone, and then I will believe Nigerians will now start living a normal life. So for now, the debates, the going up and the going down, to me, it makes no meaning, because if I say the government is right, what has it, would it put food to my table? The answer is no. Even at the current price, it is still high.
Absolutely.
Then if I say the marketers are right, then what am I saying? That the government should go up to 800, for the fuel to go up to 800? Would I support that? So you see that it's better for me not even to take side in this issue. So we need to be focused, looking at the main thing. Let our refineries start working, so that we'll get across this issue of there is fuel subsidy. That's my take.
Well, Nigerians would say it's a thing in the country that when prices of commodities, services go up, it doesn't come down. Looking back at how the federal government has handled this, maybe not putting modalities in place before the removal of fuel subsidy, would you think Nigerians would be saying, hey, apparently we should have been left with our subsidy and let the few persons who are enjoying our common patrimony, let them go ahead and join it, provided that we're at least living the life we're living before? It wasn't perfect, but better off than now.
That is the position of a layman in the rural place. But the position where you look at the interest of the government, interest of the country holistically, you will know that there is need for us to remove this fuel subsidy and there is need for us to get our refineries working. Then looking at it from a layman view, everyone will say, let this fuel subsidy continue and the people eating the money, and we here, let us have a little breath of life. But that is not the way to go. I am fully in support of the removal of the fuel subsidy being done by our President, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But it ought to be a process that would have started from the refineries, rebuilding, reviving our refineries, building more ones, giving room for others also, individuals, to go into it. Let us refine the product that was freely given to us by God, than selling what we have and buying it all over again, killing ourselves over something we have within ourselves. So you now see that either way it's not healthy until the first count, one, is counted.
Okay. Well, make it make sense to an average rural dweller, just like you pointed out, who probably is finding things pretty difficult right now. Yes, you said probably the first thing should have been our refineries working. At the moment, they are not. And, well, we don't know when those refineries would be refixed or maybe a new one built. How would you explain to a layman who's listening from one rural community now that, hey, come on, this thing is for your benefits? One who was probably buying petrol for 197 in May and is buying now for 617 naira and will probably buy even 1,000 before the end of the year. Make it make sense.
As I've said, why we are discussing this is because the refineries are not working. And even the refineries are working, the hike in price in fuel production will not be there. That's the fact. That's the truth. So I still believe first thing first. And I've heard that by December thereabout, the refinery will start working. So if we can guard up ourselves a little while before December, I pray, let it not be the announcement we heard some months ago that by June or July that cooking gas will reduce to 100 naira or below 100 naira per liter. But unfortunately now we are buying close to 900 per liter. So if the government, the federal government, will ensure that the refineries will start working by December, I attempt to plead with every one of us down there to have faith and support the removal of the subsidy, and hopefully that by December it will start having a natural death. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move away from that and let's get to a little bit of politics, right? Okay. Because just like the practices in other climes, the elections, maybe it doesn't just end with citizens or electorates getting to converge at one polling unit and another and voting for the preferred candidate and then getting to announce who the winner of the election is. It gets to the court as well. Just last week we had the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal affirming the declaration of Governor Alex Otti as the winner of the March 18th governorship election in Abia State, defeating his opponents, the PDP candidate, Chivoke Ahiwe, and of course, High Chief Ikechiminike of the All Progressives Congress. They have vehemently rejected the verdict of the court and have set to appeal that verdict. And the governor, on the other hand, has said for them to shed the sword and join hands with him in building a new Abia, as it were. What do you make of that verdict? Expected, you think, first off?
Anyway, it's a pity that our elections is no longer being decided by INEC. It's now being decided by the court. It had come to be a norm that I'm saying is staying because of many malpractices. The INEC is not, as a body, as an institution, they were not able to, put a stop to it. So somehow the participants, the candidates, are in one way or the other, seeing that the INEC themselves are also fellow people in the corruption, because every petition, INEC are there as people that are responding to whatever claim the petitioner has. So, I see that it has been a norm, and it's an ugly norm. And unfortunately, whenever it's said it is elections, every candidate is looking forward. While you are doing your campaign, you're at the same time looking out for a lawyer to contract, because whether you win, you go to court. Whether you were won, you go to court. So PDP, APC, and YPP going to court against Labour Party is no longer in use. And whatever grievances they may have, for them, they are right. And the good thing is that we're in democracy. They are also exercising all their chances and believing that one way or the other, they will get it. So I'm not against anybody going to court. I'm not against anybody finding one way or the other to say, hey, this thing was not properly, as long as it is within the ambit of the law. Where I would get concerned is PDP saying that they will go to one native doctor that raising talks against the government, But for the fact that judgment had been given, obviously, even if it is against Labour Party, they will go to appeal it. So we will not say because it is favoring Labour Party, PDP don't go to appeal, because if the judgment was against Labour Party, definitely the Labour Party will go to appeal. It is their right to do that. So I would say let them iron it out onto Supreme. So whatever the position the Supreme will give, then everybody will abide by that rule.
You have obviously a chieftain of the opposition, All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA. The tribunal formulated 3 issues following from the grounds raised by the petitioners, the likes of whether or not the second respondent in that case, Dr. Alex Oti, was at the time of the election qualified to contest the election, whether the second respondent, Dr. Alex Oti, was duly elected by majority of lawful votes cast at the election, and whether the election of Dr. Alex Oti was invalid by reason of corrupt practices or non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. And of course, the tribunal held that the PDP and the APC failed to sway it to resolve the issues in their favor, and resolved the 3 issues in favor of Dr. Alex Oti and the Labour Party, while dismissing the petition for lacking in merit. These issues formulated by the court, fair enough, you think?
I have already said that it's an issue of something that is not becoming a norm. So to whatever they have presented before the judge or the judges, they looked into it and eventually came up to that decision. And whatever decision they have decided, yes, it's now obvious that it is against the PDP, the APC. And they are still saying, no, it wasn't duly it wasn't duly looking into, so they are going to the appeal. It's a normal, common norm. He who accused must assert. You must make it.
He who asserts must prove.
Sorry, who assert must prove. Yes. Now that it's obvious that it is on them to bring all the facts together, so that the next court, the appeals, will look into it and say, okay, yes, you are right or you are wrong. Moreover, I'm not a member of APC, so I don't know when he resigns or not. I don't know whether they are saying the truth or not. And neither am I the judge to know what they presented, whether it's factual or not. So all we are depending is that it is their right to go to the appeals, and let them go to appeals.
Well, the governor has said they should shed their swords. He spoke reacting to the verdict of the court, and he said, hey, it's humongous sums for anyone to prosecute election litigation. Use those monies, the areas in your localities that need pipe bomb water and the rest of it. Channel those resources there. I did have some chieftains of the PDP yesterday who were saying, hey, the governor is not being truthful, he's not being honest in his call for the opposition to shed their sword and all of that. Do you think, first off, that the call by the governor is well placed and that the opposition should indeed maybe take that offer?
First of all, Mr. C, the governor is not in the right position to do that. You ask me why.
Why is that?
2015, he went all through the tribunal, the appeals, and Supreme. The then government was also calling him to come down, to let go. The second tenor, he repeated the same thing. So this time around, he is the one now saddling, and the people then that were in power are now the opposition. So him not telling them, shut your sword, I don't think it's good coming out from him. It would have been maybe like somebody like me coming to say, please, the opposition or PDP, the APC, please, you people should shoot your souls. But for him to say it himself, I think is more political. Is something that you won't see the truth in it. That is the truth. And moreover, Mr. C, when you assess the kind of government that is going on, you ask yourself, what are the impacts of the people that are working with Dr. Alex Soti? You see that most of the things he is doing, he's just doing it solo. The local government is not functioning. We have three arms of the government: federal government, state government, and local government. The local government is not functioning at all. So all the activities in the local government is being executed by the state governor. And we also heard the cries of so many other people.
Now, does it make sense? Let me take you on that local
Go
government,
ahead.
because of course we had a pally, media pally with the governor, and I did put forward that question of the local government, where he said, hey, come on, we're just a government barely 4 or 5 months old. We need to relax. We need to put up TC chairman and then get to conduct a local government election subsequently. Where does that sit as far as you're concerned?
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. C, it then means that the government is still not working. It's like Bola Tinubu mountain sit and said that he's just been inaugurated, that he will run the states until he's confident of one thing or the other. They will run the state through administrators. It ought not to be so, Mr. C. The state governor, once being inaugurated, ought to ensure that. I wonder why the constitution didn't have that of the local government enshrined, so that as we are doing the federal, we do the state, we do the local government, so that the three arms of the three levels of the government should be functional. But this time around, the presidency is there and will not in any way witch hunt the state, because the state has his due rights. Then the state will now start playing ball with local governments. Is disheartening. It's not right. Saying we are just barely 5 months. It's then barely 5 months of not having a proper government going on in our state. What made me to start saying this is that if him as a government, because he is the government of Abia State, is not properly functioning, then what room do you think you are going to give the people you are saying you are giving olive branch to come and work with you? How? If the people that are around you are not functioning very well.
He's not saying they should come and work with him. He's saying, hey, the monies you're going to use to go to court on appeal, use it to develop your areas.
To me, it's an insult. Why should I say that? He himself fought his case to Supreme. Now you're telling somebody, don't fight, use your money to go and build boreholes, grade roads. While it was him, what did he do? He didn't do that. He was out fighting it tooth and nail, doing everything, bringing 2015. If it were possible to go to Hague, he would have. But allow them. Than putting up statements that is, to me, is a little bit insulting them. They should use the money to go and grade roads, build boreholes, and it's completely out of place. That's my view.
Well, it's open parliament. It's the midweek edition. It's live.
However, Mr. C.
Okay,
However, I am not saying that if they want to shield their sword, they shouldn't shield their swords. It is good. It is wisdom. They do that. But since he himself, when he didn't shield his own sword, he's not in the position to tell them to shield their swords. So let them go headlong until all of them will be satisfied, and we'll see how everything goes.
Well, we'll move a little away from the tribunal because, like I said, I had a conversation on this platform with chieftains of the PDP. I had the former Commissioner for Information, Chief John Kalu, yesterday, as well as the acting publicity secretary of the PDP, Elder Amma Abraham. And then they were saying the governor was not honest, was not being honest in that his core. And then as an offshoot of the conversation, we went on the issue of transparency. I mean, the governor and the government has initiated a couple of projects, executed and commissioned a couple of road projects. I'm sure you are aware of the Melugus Road, Shalom Road, and Cemetery Road. Osai Road expansion is underway as we speak. Another project that we understand in a few days, the Port Harcourt, the much talked about Port Harcourt Road, would be flagged off. Abians obviously apparently elated. But the talk about transparency came up yesterday. Indeed, that was raised by Chief John Okeke, and it's been raised over the past couple of weeks as well. Can you speak to this? Issues of transparency. The governor was asked as to, hey, the project you have executed and commissioned, what were the price tags to this? And he said, hey, we are not shielding anything. If you want those information, the process is to get those information. What do you make of that?
Mr. C, I started calling my attention backward when during their transition seminar they went somewhere either in Abuja where they invited Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to address them, and I read that Dr. Ngozi was emphasizing on transparency as the pillar of a good government. Some time ago, Dr. Obieze Ekwesili was also emphasizing on transparency. I started asking myself, is it that these people knew who is handling the seat of government, that there might be issues of transparency? That is why they started shouting, there ought to be transparency. Or is it they are saying it on the fact that actually transparency is the foundation of a good governance? I don't know whether you understand me.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Because if I know you, Mr. C, as a drunkard, and I'm employing you where I do liquor, I will emphasize vehemently on the need for you to make sure that no bottle is lost here, alongside every other thing I will tell you, because I know that you have issues with liquor. So I'm saying that maybe, I'm not saying for sure,
But I don't anyways.
I'm just are you afraid? So what I'm saying is that I think from what is happening, everybody is shouting transparency, transparency. But at the beginning of this government, these revered personalities we have had already started earlier shouting about it. It could be act of certainty or act of experience, or I don't know. So because I've listened to so many of the programs, people also start calling in, what are the costs to all this? Nobody knows. What stops Ferdinand coming up and say, this is this, this is that, that is it, that is that? Remember that while they were in opposition, all their facts they were using against the government were gotten online. It was based on reports from the government. They will now use it to attack. You are doing this with such amount of money, you are doing this with, you are doing that. But this time around, all they are doing is hidden. Okay. It's a good thing that Julius Berger is in Aba.
Let's pause your thoughts
Okay,
there. We'll
then.
talk on that. It's open parliament still. It's live on the frequency. And don't forget, you can follow the program live on ABN Radio and TV. A guest is still in the building. The Director General, Build a New Abia Foundation, Ambassador Chigoromoki. My name is Mr. C. Stay with us. We'll be back. Well, it's open parliament still live on the frequency. The midweek edition of the program. My name is Mr. Sia Guest, Director General, Build a New Abia Foundation, Ambassador Chigoromoki. It's a live right here in the studio. Well, we'll be going to the phone lines for reactions, but staying with transparency, I know you were going to touch on the Port Harcourt Road and talk about Julius Berger going to handle the project. But again, on transparency, what would you have the government do? Would it be a situation of, hey, we are doing this project, this is how much the project cost? Is that what you expect? Because like I said, the governor said, hey, we are not shielding nothing. If you need an information or two, there are processes and there are areas where you could go get this
Mr.
information.
C, I will immediately say what this government should do is to present the opposite side of their position when they were in opposition. What do I mean by that? When it was the PDP, this present government collects data, both internal revenue amounts, both FAC, all the datas the government receives money from, and they will publish it, telling all Abians, look at how much Abia State has received in this. Look at how much Abia State spent on this. Look at how much. And now they are in these seats. They shouldn't wait for me. They shouldn't wait for you. They shouldn't allow you to start coming to office to inquire. They should push it out. Look at how much we have received. Look at how much we have spent. Look at the areas we are doing this. Look at the areas we are doing that. So that we will say, okay, yes, you are actually different. You are actually different from the previous. But when you are now the one to share the food, and you are still doing the same thing, the people you've castigated, then there is a problem there. And my worry more is that when you want to talk to them, they will start referring you, that is the way the PDP did theirs too, that they are even better than PDP, telling you their mindsets. They are still myopic of the governance. That's the truth. If you ask me, they are still in campaigning mode. They have not realized that they are unfit to govern.
But some Abians would probably argue, Abians who are probably listening, I would say, hey, come
Abians,
on, hold
okay.
on. Someone would probably say, hey, after all, the job is done. I mean, what would it care if we know the cost of a project, if we have that project executed and we can see it?
All we are experiencing is just the joy of leaving the PDPs. That is the clamor everywhere. But coming to the roots of the matter, Abia is returning back to the same feelers they were before. Let me give you an instance, Mr. C. On the pronouncement of Dr. Alex Oti winning, you see Abians were rejoicing. Everywhere was full of celebration. People borrowed money to buy drink for others because they were jubilating. The day the tribunal passed the judgment that Alex Osi is still the governor of Abia State, the state was just as quiet as anything. Nobody cares. Why? Abians have started to realize that the happiness and joy they had when it was said this government has shifted from the PDP and is now being handled by Alex Oti, they are thinking that is a messiah finally, that they are still expecting a messiah. I don't know whether you read the Bible very well, Romans 11:7, that Israel couldn't obtain that which he was desiring for. Why? The Messiah, they thought that is coming for them, didn't come for them, but came for the Gentiles. So what I mean by that is that the clamor is still there, yes, since it is not PDP. But the joy of good governance, Abians are yet to see it. What can you make of sacking 7,000 workers? What can you make of using screening? Using screening to, continue the same old process of paying these people and not paying these people. All these things are things. I'm not a critic anyway. I'm just an analyst.
Makes no sense to you that the government said, hey, these workers were disengaged, were employed at the nick of the last administration. It also makes no sense that the government has said, hey, some of these persons were ghost workers. And because we have screened them out, we have saved Abians millions in Naira. It doesn't make sense.
Mr. C, understand my line of analysis. Transparency. And you should also understand that the issue of ghost workers, yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, it's done. But the process is also the issue. You sacked 7,000 workers or more than. Then what do you have to tell Abians? That you don't have provision to employ workers? Because if you have provision to employ workers, you would look into the people that were employed and look at the merits. They all are Abians. They are the people that voted for you. You shouldn't use the issue you had with the PDPs now flexing it on innocent civil servants.
And then the government says, hey, we are here, we're a new government, let's sanitize the system first. Once the system is sanitized, and then we can throw employment open.
Sanitizing in the poor man's pocket, sanitizing in your stomach, bringing hunger and wretchedness to families. Is that the best way to go? There are other ways we can still do that and carry everybody along. Like the issue of the expansion going on in Asia Mosa. You go and see what is happening there. The first mark of demolition was the first mark they were paid and they compensated people for. Now the second mark of the demolition, people are crying. People are losing their houses. And moreover, when I heard that it was just 770 million that was used to compensate these native dwellers of that place, I cried, Mr. C.
Why is it?
Fine. It appears to me that they did just on-site calculation of their on-site calculation of their what is it called? That what they give to tell you, leave this, we want to demolish compensation. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, compensation.
On-site of compensation. For example, maybe this is a hut. They calculated it as a hut, and they value the ground, and they give you the value of the hut with the value of the ground, removing you from your house. Now tell me, the value of the mud house, how much could it be? The value of the ground, how much will it be? When it maybe is 1 million, Mr. C, you are living in a mud house. Million help you to the house? Or with that 1 million, worst, you go and rent a house? What about the changing of the environment and other hidden things that will emerge because you are no longer at the place you ought to be before? It is obvious that the money they released to people is not actually a palliative. Rather, the people are going to face much hardship. We were discussing previously based on the subsidy removal and all kind of stuff. You know the hike of if you go to the market with 50,000, with 100,000, you go home with polythene bag.
It's crazy.
Very crazy. And now you're telling me all the way from Opera Square to Express, it was just 770 million used for compensation. Mr. C, it is hardship for the people.
So it should have been more.
It should have been more. It should have been more. He ought to look at, this is somebody I'm going to displace. Moreover, some of these houses are native. Some of these houses were there when the road was still one lane. It wasn't a wrong structure then, because this is a native land. It was based on the expansion. Their houses are now being encroached, and it is seen as staying close to the road. Do you understand what I mean? Now, and you are about to remove this person from his house. Possibly that place may be the last land his father left for him, or maybe the last land he has. And you just on what you see on site and give it to him. At this current situation, with that much you give to him, give him a house somewhere else of his own. He ought to listen. Our problem here is the present government is still looking at the PDPs. If you ask them, they say, after all, PDP demolished Port Harcourt and left it. But they themselves, they are even being having human face. That is not the focus. Like my boss will always say, look at other countries that are doing well. Then you check what you are doing. That is only the yardstick that will make you to do better. But when your yardstick is focused on the people that didn't do well, obviously you cannot do better.
Okay. Well, we need to get to the phone lines now. Let
me still say something, Mr.
Okay.
C. Coming to when Rochas did his in Owerri, do you know that the fencing of every demolished house was done by the government, giving a befitting look, a uniform look of that road? Most of the reconstruction done were done by the government, not giving people money, leaving them to their penury. Some people, after the first demolition, started building fences to cover their nakedness. Now the second demolition has come, removing the fence, encroaching more to your building. It is not to be said to have human face any longer.
All right.
And I know that there won't be any review, unless, why I'm saying it, they will now go to review the compensation they did. It ought to be done, Mr. C. It is human house that is being removed.
All right.
From the native places.
Well, let's pause the thoughts there. Let's get to the phone lines now. In case you're listening, want to react, you can. It's 0816-111-5955 or 0701-651-4107. If you can do it in 1 minute, your take. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, Mr. C, good morning. We are there in the studio. Good morning.
Very good morning, sir.
My name is Pastor Sandy Carlo, and
Welcome.
calling you from Manichu.
Welcome. 1 minute.
What I want to say, I've had a man there, all that he said. Yes, even though that in Niger State we need a constructive opposition to criticize the government in power. But for me, I think that the present governor, Alex Oti, is doing well. So he may not get it all right at the same time. But for me, I may give him 90 to 95%. And the young man in the studio talking, he's talking his mind, he's saying his mind. And if I listen to him carefully, he's dancing the tune of the PDP members by not seeing anything good that the present government have done. Look at Julius Vega now is now at Protocol 2 in Aba. And now they are still talking about costs, whereas the government has told them how to assess the cost that they are talking about. Will the governor say everything?
Okay.
And moreover, we Ajas, we are very, very happy with him. I'm an Aja man by birth.
Thank you.
And the people of this state.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For a very long time.
We appreciate it.
So
Thank you.
for them to say, I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello. Good morning.
Mr. T, you are lifted for life.
Good morning to you.
Excellent. Yes, you don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, 1,000 minds begin with a step. Uchi has started very well. You know, I guess in the house, I know even as I thought that his goal is there, his goal would have been saying opposite of what he's talking now. But no problem. One can say from PDP and join another political party. So what I'm saying in the first that he don't need to more than the chief corner. The AOSA people, they are all jubilated. I can tell you that the people that received first alert opposition people. And I can say that one of the commissioners doing PDP have come out publicly and said that they have received that they are comfortable with this government. Former commission documentation said for complaint all they do have to that he has received a lot. People attacking against it. I don't see. And what is happening that this demolition of the tent, this man called the meeting and this put it there. These PDP people they start running this. People running this.
Thank you.
There is no compensation.
Thank you.
I don't know. No, when somebody is in PDP, the receipt from PDP, that the man has been removed. You come and be saying
Thank
something.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Said, my brother.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm Emeka from Aba.
Welcome, Emeka.
I thank God that your guest said that I was giving them 1 million to remove something. See, Mr. C, if you come to Aba, my uncle 3-story building, okay, so bring it down. Start giving him 1 naira. Thank God he said that both he give them 1 million naira in Osa Road. I thank God that he said so. Why then? They are not giving any stand to anybody. He's there talking. He's going to see more from Abian. From there, that place is said that now. He's going to see more mouth from Abian now. How can he say so? Because of he get the network to say anyhow. Don't say anyhow, Mr. Man. Stop saying anything.
Well, thank you. Please, we would have to let you go. You are allowed to express your opinion, but you have to be very circumspect. We appreciate it for coming through. We have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning, my honorable member in the house.
Good morning, my brother.
Welcome.
Sir, talking about things that is going on here in Nigeria. Sir, very welcome. I had a son who wants to work.
We're really struggling to hear you. If you could get a better reception, probably a better line, and call us back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please turn down the volume on your radio.
Boniface Chibuzo calling you from Amakama.
Welcome.
The guest in the house.
You can still have the whole back from your end. Please turn down the volume.
Sorry, sir. My guest in the house. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
I thank you because.
Can you turn down the volume on your radio, please?
I've done that, Uncle Phil. I thank God for the man in the house. He's trying to put up a constructive criticism. But in all these things that he's saying, he's just one-sided. The governor came, we voted for him. I call him my governor. And I'm happy that he's sitting on that seat. Not because he's the PDP, he's not from PDP, but because he's a man that has a vision on how to put out the state right. He made mention that the governor brought out 720 million for compensation. And yesterday, I was listening, or 2 days ago, they were saying that the money is too much, that he should come and give account on how he raised that amount to 720 million. And the guest in the house is saying that it's too small. You know, human wants are you cannot satisfy human wants.
Okay.
But Governor Oti is trying.
Thank you.
Check within the months that he is on that seat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate. We'll have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to our guests in the house.
Good morning, sir.
Obrigado, Mr. C.
Obrigado.
Our guest, I want to thank you for at least coming to tell Abias what is happening under our Governor, Dr. Alex Oti. Most times, the people attacking you, they don't know what is happening in this state. If peradventure you came to condemn what previous administration did, and you are doing worse than what those people did, where is your justification? We are talking about transparency, which you used to campaign. I followed the campaign of our governor, Alex Oti, whenever he came on air, even in radio station, Love FM, to tell Abias what he's going to do if he becomes the governor of the state. Why now what you condemn during past administration is what is repeating itself in a present administration, and you don't want people to talk. And the people that are being paid by the government are still trying to attack people. It's very, very unfortunate. So keep saying the truth, and the truth will always set Abias true.
Thank you.
Abias need to know how much is coming as allocation. Abias need what happens in local government, and some prostators have not been
Thank
paid.
you very much.
Are supposed to be paid by the government.
Thank you. Well, let's leave it there, guys, for your calls. Let's get quickly to our guest. Reactions from the callers there, and maybe your parting words.
Mr. C, I've already said that some of us in Abia are just clamoring just for the fact that it is no longer PDPs. But looking at the matters on the table, that's what I'm saying. I'm not even liking to be called a critics. I'm just analyzing what we have. Look at what we have. If we're in democracy, let's practice democracy. If we are against the ugly government, I've said PDP is not better. If you are against them,
as far as you're concerned, I know you've talked about issues regarding transparency and the likes. With that, has it, eroded whatever positive that some Abians from the calls believe that the government has started with? Or you don't think there's any positive at all?
I'm talking about...
If you can do that in 30
yes,
30 seconds.
I'm talking about transparency has no medium part of it. He has to be transparent and tell Abians what is happening. That is governing the house from your house. It ought to be a situation that people that were should do what they ought to do, and they should be permitted to do what they ought to do.
All right. Well, Ambassador, thank you for coming in open parliament this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. C.
Well, Build a New Abia Foundation Director General, Ambassador Chigoro Muki, has been a guest on the program representing Chikwe Udensi. I'll be back same time, same station next week, God willing. Thanks for being a part of the program. Your calls and listenership we appreciate. We'll take you to the newsroom now for the news at 10. My name is Mr. C.